Hi, welcome back. This is Dan with Enigma Stationery. I want to talk to you a little bit about our Kakimori nib holders and some other new items we have up on the shop. Our Kakimori nib holders, including the stainless steel nib you see here, those are available on the store as we speak. And we've got a new accessory that we're pretty excited to share. It's a result of a partnership with one of our favorite small artisan pen makers, River City Pen Company. Rich at River City has been kind enough to work with us to make several custom nib holders out of our own Enigma Blanks acrylic materials that we are now offering for sale on the shop. And I'm just going to show you a bunch of those today. This first one that's on screen for an example, this is actually made by Kakimori themselves. This is made from sakura wood. It's one of the standard nib holders, and I want to offer it as an example here so you can see a little bit of the size difference. The sakura wood holder is quite long, and we wanted something that was a little shorter and would fit more comfortably in standard pen cases and in loops on various notebooks and other related items. So this first one here, this one's made out of our old Burano material. You can see it's got a lot of fun, bright colors, and I fitted this one with the brass Kakimori nib. So you can see size-wise, similar width, but a much shorter length that I find to be more comfortable in the hand for writing. And you can see the Kakimori nib holder is a little bit longer. Let's take a look at some of the other ones that Rich has made up. We've got some of them. He made a couple different ones. So this is another old Burano, and this is also a great opportunity to see how different two rods of the same blank can end up being when turned into the same size and shape. You can see similar colors in both, but different design entirely. So each one of these is going to be completely unique. You won't find exactly the same pattern repeated. So let's look at a couple others here. We've got this is a blank we call Tahitian Sunset. It's got pink and blue and some shimmer in this one. This is one we call Spice Spice Baby. It's oranges and very autumnal for the pumpkin spice latte crowd out there. This is inspired by those colors, those fall colors. This red and blue one we call Oxygenation. Reminds us of a biology diagram where you see the blood flow around the human body. So you can see those there. This is one of my favorites. We call this one Patina Turner. You can see a lovely copper color, and then the teal that looks like a copper patina. And there's also it's actually a very dark purple color with the white mixed in there. Almost looks black, but it's actually a very deep purple. This is one we call Supernova. Some pinks and blues, kind of some shimmery stardust look throughout it there. Then we have our Satis Refraction series. So you'll see these in the colors of the rainbow. So we've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and that's violet. Looks almost black on camera, but that's actually a violet color. And then threw in pink for good measure. Maybe not part of the traditional rainbow, but a nice bright pink color. And these all have, it doesn't always show up on camera very well, but there is a consistent shimmer through these that is really enjoyable. Then we also have several from our variegated series of blanks. So each one of these has 7 different colors mixed in. This is our variegated 1, variegated 2, variegated 3, variegated 4. This is a lighter one, you can see, almost a pastel. And then variegated 5, this one's kind of wild. It's got a very sparkly copper color in it, and some green, and a couple different shades of blue, along with the white mixed in there. Like I say, each of these is 7 different colors mixed together. So those are all the blanks that Rich used to make these nib holders for us. The other thing I wanted to do for those who haven't had the pleasure of using a Kakimori nib, I wanted to do a quick demo. So, this is one I don't think I showed earlier. This is called Surf's Up, is what we call this one. It's very translucent, almost like a seafoam sort of color there. So I'm going to dip this into one of my favorites. It's the Teranishi guitar inks. This is the Melancholic Blue. I'm just going to go ahead and dip it right in there and give you an example of how this writes. So you can see the thing about the Kakimori nib is, depending on how you hold it, the more you angle, the wider that stroke gets, and to a point, you can even use it like a paintbrush. So I really enjoy what that one is like to write with. It's very pleasant. And that's the steel. The steel, according to Kakimori, the main difference between the steel and the brass is the steel is what they refer to as a bit sharper. So it's going to give you the ability to be a little more crisp with your lines, whereas the brass is a softer, because it's the softer metal, it tends to give a little bit more ability to make a more flowing line. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to switch colors here. This is the Lady Emerald, also from Teranishi Guitar Inks. But this is with the brass here in the old Burano holder. So if I can, similar to before, can make those strokes lighter and wider. And it's hard to convey this on video. You almost have to use it for yourself. And it's the reason that I personally have one of each, because I do enjoy them both, and depending on the kind of writing you're doing, or even with some art projects, you can use the properties of the two different ones quite differently. The channels in those Kakimori nibs hold quite a bit of ink, so you can actually put down quite a lot of writing before it runs dry. In case you're curious, the notebook I'm writing in, this is it's actually a new item for the site. This is the Endless notebook. Endless is the name of the company, and it's what they refer to as their regalia paper. It's a very crisp white color. Hopefully my color correction on the video isn't messing that up. It is very white, I assure you. And it's an 80 GSM paper, so it's a pretty thick paper, and they refer to it as an ink-loving paper. And I'll say it is quite fountain pen friendly. I've loaded up these pages, and it's definitely still wet in some of these areas where I really laid it on like I was painting. But I can already see it drying up top here on those first ones that I did. In fact, you can see it's already dry there. A couple of wet spots still, but this is it's a wonderful notebook. I was test driving one for a while before we started carrying it, and I'm very impressed. It's got a nice quality, kind of a leather binding on it, and It's got that 80 GSM paper. It comes with a couple different ribbons to mark spots in the book, and then it also has the rubber band built in. And obviously I closed it while some of those spots were still wet, so you can see that did transfer across. But let's look in terms of the bleed. You can, of course, see those thickest spots through the paper, so it does show through to some degree, although in this case I was really laying it on there, so not surprised at all to see the show through on that. Let me go a little more carefully with a round two here to see what we can, something a little more normal writing. So you can see there is still some show through. However, that is much less so than the thicker spots that I was putting in earlier. So that's our endless notebooks we're now carrying, and then, as I noted, there's a multitude of these incredible nib holders, all compatible with the Kakimori nibs, both the brass and the stainless steel. Rich did a tremendous job with these. We're very proud to have them on the shop, and these will be there while supplies last. A lot of them just have a single one available, so if there's a particular color you like, jump on out to enigmastationery.com. Until next time, thanks for watching.